like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Always like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Feeling like, yeah, yeah, yeah. Feeling like.
Yo, it is your boy Savage D Sag back up in this beach. What is good, and man, I hope you all been having a great couple of weeks. I finally finished my Dorohedoro read, and I'm continuing my Yu Yu Hakusho rewatch, and I've been reading Chosen X for the first time recently. Man, when I tell you that shit has been a fire read, Ashita cooked with that one. God bless the peak. Let me know down below what you've been checking out too in the meantime. So anyways, before we get into the chapter fully, I just want to say that Fujimoto was almost gonna get me tight with these set of chapters until he saved it with chapter 143, but let me not get ahead of myself. Let's get into this Chainsaw Man chapter 142 first. So this chapter started off with views of a fair. We see that Denji has taken Nayata and she is there having the time of her life. We see that Fumiko is there with him and she is mentioning that Denji didn't join the Chainsaw Man church after all, but Denji says that she needs to chill because he isn't planning on turning into Chainsaw Man again. Fumiko says that it must be a shame because turning into Chainsaw Man should feel good with all the adrenaline and perks that come along with it. Denji mentions that it isn't all that it's cracked up to be sometimes, and Fumiko lets it slip that she understands since she would rather die than be getting watched in the bathroom like Chainsaw Man.
I beg your pardon?
Loki seeming to forget for a sec mid-conversation that Denji is actually Chainsaw Man. Denji understandably flips because it is weird as hell to be watched overall constantly, but especially in the bathroom. Fumiko was embarrassed at her verbal blunder while Denji continues to spaz about being watched while having private time. Denji calls her a stalker for watching him and also touching his penis in her introduction, but Fumiko asks him who wouldn't want to touch Chainsaw Man's penis, and that she isn't a stalker, she is a fan. Fujimoto is hell for this scene. Anyways though, Denji is not buying what she is selling, saying that most women who come on to him actually hate him, to where we see that Fumiko actually does, but only a tiny bit since Chainsaw Man didn't save her parents. We find out that this happened during Chainsaw Man's fight with Aki, the gun fiend in part 1. Damn. Anyways though, after her house was destroyed during the fight, she called out the Chainsaw Man to rescue her parents, but he couldn't hear her. Although her parents died, she realized that Chainsaw Man isn't a god or a superhero, but just a kid. Because when Chainsaw Man had turned into a human after defeating the gun fiend, he was crying. After this moment, she made it a goal to save Chainsaw Man and became a fan of Denji himself. This took me back to part 1 when Denji is about to fight Rize or Rize, whatever y'all call her, when she was revealed to be the bomb devil and mentioned that no one is out to love his heart, just his Chainsaw Man heart. That was cute writing right here. Fumiko was trying to enter the rankings of wifey tier along with Asa, Rize, and more, but I ain't gonna lie. Knowing Fujimoto, this is a death flag. Anyways though, before we can even get Denji's response to this information, Barum's bitch ass pulls up and interrupts it, saying that he is a Chainsaw Man fan. Bro, he's an asshole. Barum bigs up the Public Safety Commission because it was hard to get to Denji's location without being spotted. Denji spazzes on him and asks what does he want, and Barum says that as a fan, he just wants to see Chainsaw Man fighting and wants to see Chainsaw Man killing shit and getting killed constantly, all while getting up despite the struggles. He tells Denji that in a few moments, there will be a double attack on the first floor of the building, saying that all the people will be screaming, "Save us, Chainsaw Man," if you had to guess. While we get a shot of Mirai along with the other 2 hybrids that are planning to attack the people. Alright, so I said most of what I wanted to say in my few interruptions earlier, but let me just say this really quickly. 1, I'm not sure how tapped into Chainsaw Man Twitter you all are, but all I saw on there was how it's funny that from a meta standpoint, Fumiko is the side of the fanbase that has no complaints at all with the slower pace of part 2, and how grounded Denji is. Meanwhile, Barum is the side of the fanbase that either doesn't like part 2 at all, or is kind of where I am at, where I thoroughly do enjoy part 2, but I also kind of miss some of the action and explosive chaotic moments that was part 1, especially from a binging perspective. It's just cool, and I'm sure Fujimoto is knowledgeable on the discourse, so this could be him kind of winking at us as his audience. Okay, so now to the main event. Chainsaw Man chapter 143, so let's get right into it. The spear hybrid is talking to Mirai and the whip hybrid saying what their orders are. To make the humans scream as loud as possible, aiming for women and children the most because they will deliver better screams. As he continues to talk, the whip hybrid is like fuck all that because she is upset that he called her a child, stating that she is actually going to be 82 that year. Mirai funnily pulls the no-no that guys aren't supposed to do and calls her an old hag, but she says that she is far from that and that she is eternally young and tough, so she will never die. She also describes herself as a superhuman specimen and chosen by God.
Interesting.
This causes the spear hybrid to agree and saying that he likes how she thinks, justifying their upcoming actions as a message from God. Mirai continues to look shook like he has been this whole time while the plan was formed, and sees a kid that is crying after he tripped. We are clearly getting more looks at Mirai's humanity at work, sweating profusely and not pleased with what is about to take place. But he hypes himself up by using the other two hybrids' words that this is a message from God, as he continues to try to justify his next actions, and they all start their transformation poses. They get their motherfucking limbs cut off in a fire-ass double-page spread. Ironically, just after talking about aiming for the women and children's limbs. Although all three hybrids got their heads cut off, the spear and whip hybrids were too late in finishing their transformations, leaving Mirai as the only one in his devil form. Before he can even retaliate, we see that the savage swordsman is none other than one of the motherfucking goats, the pimp, the first devil hunter, Quanxi. Man, this was too hype. It's hard to top what she did in chapter 60 when we got like 9 pages just dedicated to her being a badass, running around chopping niggas' heads off, but bruh, this was a good way of bringing her back. Quanxi is stoic per usual, just standing there and kicking the whip hybrid's head as the civilians run away. After letting the boy that had fell run away, she calls it in that she killed off the hybrids, and the cops say that they will let Special Division 7 in after the media coverage. Keep in mind that this is the same division with Fumiko in it. Anyways, the news reports on what happened at the store, but instead it is framed as a shooting spree, making the Chainsaw Man Church followers suspects. They don't confirm the death toll, but say that the police and Devil Public Safety Commission is basically about to be on the church's ass, since this now makes them seem like terrorists. We see an old man that I don't think we were introduced to before talking to Haruka and Nobana, saying that if they search the church and find the weapons in the basement, they could be charged with treason. Haruka is enraged because no one told him anything about any weapons they had. When he asks what is going on, the old man basically responds and tells Haruka to gather the combat trained members, capping to Haruka about not knowing anything, and then finally saying that Haruka didn't hear anything either, seeming to try to frame Haruka as the founder of the church. Damn man, this old man would be a good ass gangster. Anyways, this shit is wild. So I can speak more now on what I meant before on Fujimoto almost getting me tight, so I ain't gonna lie. I've been loving the stretch of chapters that we've been getting up until 142 when we got more talking. Now, I love the character moment that we got between Fumiko and Denji, but after the tease of shit finally hitting the fan in 142, that is low-key what I wanted and expected. Now, albeit that is my fault for expecting anything, especially with such a volatile story as Chainsaw Man, but I'm only human, bruh. Next, although we didn't get a big crazy battle this chapter like I wanted, and I swore that I would rip the chapter if there wasn't, I honestly can't even do that, because at the end of the day, Fujimoto is a man of the people. This man listened to the streets and gave us Quanxi, bruh. This is too fire. Hopefully she leads a prominent support role, and hopefully this also opens the door to seeing Kishibe and Reze soon. That would be some dope ass shit. I'm really hoping her appearance doesn't just end at this one shot of the hybrids or, you know, just that 1 or 2 more scenes. Lastly, man, I am interested in these weapons that the Chainsaw Man Church is hiding. Like, are they literal weapons? Are they weapons similar to how the hybrids call themselves weapons, meaning more powerful devils? Then even Haruka seemingly getting framed is crazy. What will Asa think of this and the whole terrorist angle? How will family respond? Whew.
Man, shit ain't got serious.
But anyways, that is all from me. Please consider hitting the link in my description and following me on Twitter. I give my thoughts on Chainsaw Man, JJK, and even my current read-through of Chosen X. I'd love to see you over there if you're a fan of manga, anime, and MMA like me. Hit this video with a like, sub, show some love to your boy. It's your boy Savage D Sag and I'm out. Peace.